Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. This week, we have kironJ Gardner, who will lead us in meditation, and then we have 20 minutes of silence. After that, we open it up for sharing, and we end at 10:45. Over to you, kironJ.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, everybody. It's very beautiful to be here again in this wonderful space that the network provides for us to join in holy purpose. So today, I'm going to offer us 3 quotes from a very powerful section in the course called Beyond the Body. It's chapter 18, section 6. And this is high teaching from the course. It's an invitation to open our minds beyond the body, beyond this world, beyond who we think we are. Our life is nothing to do with what we think it is. It's beyond. So this is not about trying to understand the quotes. It's about allowing them to support our choice for opening to spirit. And this is where thoughts are changed and false beliefs are laid by, effortlessly, easily, with grace. Today's lesson: by grace I live, by grace I am released. And this is super practical, because as our mind is changed in this opening and joining with spirit, forgiveness is happening with no input from the human level. It just happens. And then when we come to have the experience of living a daily life, our classrooms for forgiveness, it's so much easier. We are motivated as never before when we have a practice of opening to beyond the body. So, with that background idea to hold us, would you like to close your eyes? Open your minds and allow this teaching to support the healing of our minds. There is nothing outside you. That is what you must ultimately learn, for it is the realization that the kingdom of heaven is restored to you. Heaven is not a place nor a condition. It is merely an awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there is nothing else, nothing outside this oneness and nothing else within. Mind reaches to itself. It is not made up of different parts which reach each other. It does not go out. Within itself, it has no limit, and there is nothing outside it. It encompasses everything. It encompasses you entirely, you within it, and it within you. There is nothing else, anywhere or ever.
Open your eyes slowly and go back into the room. We have 25 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. And if you'd like to ask kironJ a question or a comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. Linda.
kironJ, that was absolutely wonderful. And it coincides with my lessons recently. And the one I'm doing today is God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And I trust in God. Everything you said resonated. I'm so pleased to hear it all today. I just am. Yes. And this morning I'm going away tomorrow, and I was going to take the car. It's really mucky because I do jobs for people, gardening, and it's filthy. And I thought, I'll take it to the Tesco's. And I was able to get up, wake up at 6, meditate, read my lesson. I was alive, and I've cleaned the car inside. I am alive. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely thrilled. Thank you.
Oh, it's beautiful, Linda. Can see the life radiating out of you. Yes, yes. And it will be coming from this connection in your mind to spirit, remembering God. So wonderful. Thank you for your gorgeous sharing.
Who'd like to share? Jim, take yourself off mute.
Yes, thank you, kironJ. Following on from that, this idea of the light coming out of us, it also fits in with the lesson we were looking at on Sunday in our Sunday morning prayer group, which is recommended, by the way, if anyone would like to join us. We were looking at a lesson about one mind connecting with God can awaken 1,000 other minds. And I was struggling with this. I could see it the other way around, that 1,000 people praying for one person could work. But the idea that one person connecting with God in meditation, awakening 1,000 other minds, I was really struggling with. But of course, as you just said, it's not the light coming from us. It's the connection we're making with the universal light. And of course, that light shining, if it's allowed access to the sleeping mind, has a countless number of other minds it can light. It's coming from that universal light. It's nothing to do with our light. It's the light coming from the universe, and that has no limits. So it fitted in very nicely with what you said at the start and what you've just said in response to Linda. And it's good to remember that. There was this sense of me doing it, you see. On Sunday, there was this idea of me doing it, me doing this meditation, and somehow generating this light myself, which is complete nonsense. And it only became clear afterwards that it's nothing to do with that at all. It's simply allowing that light into one mind, one sleeping mind. And that same light cannot be limited to one sleeping mind. It has got to be much bigger than that. So thank you. Another bit of synchronicity. So thank you, kironJ.
Beautiful, Jim. Thank you. Yes, there is one light. There is one life, and that we share with each other and with God. And numbers don't really come into it because it's one mind appearing as many. And just wanting to offer further that even this light can't awaken a mind that doesn't want to awaken a fragment of the mind. I mean, Jesus is completely awake, to take an example. He's completely connected with all our minds. It does not mean that we have the experience of being enlightened, totally transcended the ego, because Jesus is radiating or allowing the light to radiate through his mind to our mind. But it is the most powerful, powerful call to our minds to remember and awaken. And that's all any of us can do, which is everything, of course, is to allow the love to flow, capital L. Allow the light to flow through our minds, representing us being extensions of God's being. And in our hearts, choose that this light radiates out to all the sonship without exception. Not all to everyone, but not that person who's really upsetting me now, to all minds. And then that's the perfect call for them to remember. That light is always available to everyone, whatever the personal circumstances. And our responsibility, our power, what's within our choice, is for our mind to open more and more and more to this light, so that we are a perfect conduit for the light to remind all minds that we're joined. That's what I'd like to offer there.
Would like to share. Dennis, take yourself off mute.
Thank you very much for that timely reminder. I'm going through a cancer treatment and I have to make a major decision, and I've asked for help. And by that reminder, you helped me make my decisions. In the late 70s or early 70s, I can't remember the time, I had a meditation and I went through all sorts of things, and I became one with everything. The stars, the stones, the sea, the whole universe. And then I had to come back. I came back into my room and I cried because I wanted to stay there. It was so beautiful. So thank you very much for that timely reminder and helping me make a decision, which I'm going to do. Thank you.
Oh, that's miraculous, isn't it? It's just miraculous, Dennis. Yes. This is your mind choosing to open and receive the perfect guidance. Indeed. So
sometimes I have a reminder and it says, remember who you really are.
Yeah, yeah. You're not anything to do with Dennis undergoing a cancer treatment. No, this is your dream. This is the mind's dream. And the more that you remember this is just a dream, and the mind has been making this difficult situation deliberately, put the pain of separation in the world, disguising the fact that it's really in the mind, you can see through all of this and choose to identify with the mind that is an extension of God's being. In that is all healing.
Thank you. Most of the time I forget.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the ego is very persistent. Our belief in separation is very persistent. And we just have to keep on choosing again, choosing again, choosing again. Knowing that this connection, this joining, is everything. All healing is contained here.
Thank you once again for the timely reminder.
You're very welcome, Dennis.
Who'd like to share? John, take yourself off mute.
Hi, kironJ. Thank you.
Hi, John.
And firstly, I wanted to say how much I love this group. I find that there's such a joyous, light energy around this group, which I love. And there's laughter and all of those things. And yeah, no, it's wonderful. And to see your lovely smile, and I love your waistcoat and all of these things, which And yeah, this thing about the mind. I mean, absolutely. I had experience, which I always love because I find this experience and teaching. I did a fire walk and I did Living on the Light with Judge Maheen, and those two practices really anchored with me that I'm not my body. You know, I'm my mind. It's my great thing. And then when I really got into the course, I went through this old chestnut, you know, my body, my mind, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that, no, I know I'm my mind. I know I'm a mind, but I had to be careful not to deny my body, because Ken Wapnick taught me that if I denied my body, I was making it as real as if I was overly obsessed with it. So that was a great learning for me. And then of course, Jesus tells me in the course that my body is a communication device. And that's the key. When I remember that this body is a communication device to communicate only one thing, which is love. And, you know, I don't claim to be able to do that all the time. However, I do make a practice. And I want to share something that happened to me yesterday, which I knew was because we just got another car, and we had to sell the car that we had. And I went around to a dealer here, and I'd already decided that, you know, we wanted, I thought I was guided to say €1,000. However, I'd already made up my mind, I don't have to worry about it. There's nothing to worry about, because whatever it is, it'll be right. So I get to see him, and he'd already said when I first showed him photographs, yeah, €1,000, good. Then I left the car with him so he could test it, and it's a great car. And when I went to see him, he said, well, you know, this car's come from the Canary Islands, and I said, no problem. What would make you happy? And he said, well, I think 600. And I said, fantastic, brilliant. Thank you very much. Wonderful, you know. Oh, he said, I said, yeah, that's great. If that's fantastic. So we did the deal. And at the end, he said, can you come out? He said, can I have your phone number? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem at all. So I gave him my phone number. And I don't know why, but it's not my business. But the lovely feeling where, you know, my old John would have been haggling and said, I want 1,000, I want 950 or whatever. And I just said, no, it's fine. Because I felt good. And that was the end of it. And just one other quick one about listening. My God, the lesson of the day is like God's voice speaks to me all through the day. This morning, got up, Addie and I always go for a swim. And we have two pools in this complex, one on this side and one on the other side of the road. And we normally use the one on the other side of the road. And as we were getting prepared, voice very clear says, don't use that pool today, use the one near you. Of course, I ignored it, as the ego does. Okay, we walk across the other side of the road, and there's a guy that's shut down, he's doing the renovation job on the pool. So, you know, it's kind of fun. Anyway, it's lovely to see you, lovely to see everybody. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you for the reminder that the Holy Spirit uses everything we've made. It can all be dedicated to holy purpose. We're not bodies, we are as God created us. However, we're having a very persistent, real experience, convincing experience that we are bodies. So within this realm, let's use them lovingly. Let's use them, dedicate them as a classroom for forgiveness, for joining. Yeah, and you know, you and Annie do this so very, very well. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Love and do as thou wilt. I forget, there was some great sage said that, but there's a lot of truth in that. Love and do as thou wilt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who would like to share? Sandy, take yourself off mute.
Thank you. It's lovely everybody sharing, and that was a beautiful meditation, kironJ. And it just reminded me your words beforehand that so often I think of it as many minds joining as one, and it's not. It's just one mind. You reminded me that it's one mind that extends, and that was a really poignant thing for me in the meditation, because you know, we sort of forget and see ourselves as separate, and these minds join to make one mind, but it's not, it's the other way around. We're one mind, being perceived as different minds. And that was, yeah, a real aha moment for me. So thank you.
Beautiful, Sandy. Yes. The course does talk on these different levels. It gives us the high teaching, which was brought today, and it talks to us at the level of our experience, not because it's real, but because it's real to us. So the idea of I'm going to join with you is a beautiful stepping stone. Coming from I'm separate from you and I want nothing to do with you. Oh no, I want to join with you. I want to be loving with you. It's wonderful, wonderful transition into this realization. There is only one mind, and it reaches within itself, not outside. Yeah, and that's where the course is leading us all to live from, not just read it as a wonderful idea, but live from that experience. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your aha.
Terry, would you like to share?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks, kironJ. Coincidentally, last week I was away leading a retreat, and it was called The Joy of Encounter. And there we were in a beautiful setting, and there was a couple of dozen people with problems with drugs and homelessness, and some asylum seekers and what have you. It was a right ragtag bunch of misfits, if you like. But the first thing I said to them when we started the retreat was, there's only one of us here. And over the course of the retreat, we'll get to know each other at a much deeper level. And I started the retreat with the Bob Marley song, you know, One Love. You know, give thanks and praise to the Lord and it will be all right, you know. And it was a great retreat. I mean, it was bloody hard work, but it was a great retreat. And that joining of minds, you know, coming home to ourselves. And interestingly, there was a woman on a retreat who had a private word afterwards, and she said, I was watching you, and what you were doing is bringing people together and affirming them. And I think in terms of the work that we all are doing, we are helping to remember the truth, and accordingly we can thereby help other people to remember the truth. And there is only one of us here this morning. So thanks everyone. Thanks kironJ.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much for your part in the plan. Yeah, powerful, powerful work that you're doing. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Who would like to share? Norman, take yourself off mute.
I promised I'd be quick. I'd just like to thank everybody, but I'd like to particularly thank James, because he mentioned the Sunday meeting, and that he said he liked to meditate just whenever he could. So I thought, right, I'll try this. And I was absolutely amazed, because we are quiet and still and just listen to the silence. The ego hasn't got a chance of poking its nose in. And that was a beautiful, I didn't realize just how important it was until yesterday. And I realized if I listen and practice this meditation, that the ego hasn't got a chance of creeping in. And at that meditation today, God already spoke to me once, and I had a lovely feeling of total silence and warmth and gentleness. And I thought, well, why is he not speaking? But just as it ended, into my mind came just like a coloured neon light that just says, enjoy. And that's when it ended. So I just have to thank everybody in the Course in Miracles and everybody who's here. I would never have got that experience anywhere. And of course, God.
Thank you, Norman. How beautiful. I think it's really helpful to let go of all ideas of the experience of the joining. Just choose to open, choose to join, choose to be in the silence. Sometimes we'll get a feeling, a message, a thought about our physical lives, and sometimes we won't, because this is working at a level way beyond this physical experience. So if we get a sense of something, great. If we don't get a sense of something, equally great. Just enjoy, exactly. Enjoy the opening. The silence is calling me more and more and more. Shared silence. Myself, kironJ, this mind, and also to share with others, because it's transformational, it's miraculous. Yeah, so all encouragement, echoing Norman's thought. Yes, let's be in meditation. Let's be in silence together. Yeah.
Okay, we've come to the top of our hour, and thank you so much, kironJ, for leading us in meditation today. And thank you all for being here.
Yeah.
And take yourself off of mute and show your appreciation.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jay.